What you been feeding this thing?
Moms.
What's your favorite scary movie? Swallow this.
Arrow on the Head Show with me and Mr. John the Arrow Fallon back once again. John, I love that we're on a Schwarzenegger kick. I think times are treating us pretty well, huh? Going back to our childhood here.
Definitely, you can't go back with Arnie, or even Stallone, or it's basically the era I grew up in, and I'll speak for myself when I say life made sense, society made sense, even with its the 80s and the 90s had their own shortcomings, obviously, but I understood it.
Every generation must go through this, I always think about that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a cycle that you never break. Because eventually things are like, what is going on? And it's like, dude, we're at that age where it's like, we talked about this other episode about in Raw Deal how there's a creature comfort. It's like home cooked food to watch kind of sleazy, schlocky, awesome action movies from the 80s and 90s, buddy. It's just right here.
Amen, brother. Well, on that, let's not dilly-daddle. Before we get into the 1990 Arnold Schwarzenegger starring Total Recall, what's on the menu, my friend?
All right, so basically all I'm drinking is some clear rum, lime, and club soda. That's all I have in the house. I've been trying to do what I can. I don't even have any ice, so it's just...
That's it. You can't afford that ice, eh?
What are you drinking, man?
I found this in the store. It's Steve Austin, the wrestler.
What is it?
Broken Skull IPA.
Oh, okay. Okay. How is it?
It's all right. It's all right.
I guess we're both doing okay in drinks. So here is to moderation.
Moderation, my friend.
Hello, my friend! Hey!
Total Recall 1990. One of the best action movies of the 90s, though, in all honesty, I always argue that the very beginning of any decade is essentially an extension of the decade before. So this, to me, is 1989. But one of my favorite movies, Paul Verhoeven. I think Schwarzenegger, top of his game. I'm not saying it's his best, but this is his run, baby. This is him on top. And I just want to say before we get started, I got this amazing, a while back, Steelbook. Look how pretty this thing is, man. Did you, what's your relationship? Did you see this in theaters? Because I feel like our relationship is you've always seen these movies in theaters, and that always bums me out because...
Yes, I've seen this one in theaters, definitely. I was really anticipating it. I was a big Arnold fan at that point, with Conan, Terminator, The Raw Deal, obviously, which we did last week. One thing that impressed me watching it again on this watch, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the film has been in development since like the 70s. Like the screenwriters, eventually De Laurentiis got it, but the screenwriters Ronald Shusett and Dan O'Bannon, who of course wrote Alien, they acquired the rights to Philip K. Dick's short story, We Could Remember It For You Wholesale. In 1974, actually. They started working on it and realized that the budget was going to be too big for them to really run with it. So that's when they decided to write Alien, something more contained, more easy to do. So over the years, the script has bounced and bounced and bounced. Eventually wound up with De Laurentiis, and Patrick Swayze was set to play, and Raw Deal came out, as we talked about in our last Raw Deal episode. If you haven't watched it, for shame. And basically kill De Laurentiis, and Swayze was out, and eventually Carolco took over the project. Arnold got on board, and there you have it. The film was always written for the lead to be like an everyday man, an everyman, That's why, the Swayze casting at the time, and even the piss poor remake by Len Wiseman had, Colin Farrell. Farrell, yeah, him too. So, well, watching it, Schwarzenegger, who's, he did lean out. You could see he leaned out from like Commando or Conan. He was less massive. But
I guess he was still big as mother.
He's still a beast, but I kind of bought it. Every man that looks like a mountain of muscle. Yeah, I kind of bought it.
I love it for the opposite because he plays an every man, but he's clearly not. I think it's stunt casting, but it's perfect stunt casting. He's just giant, built, smooth as a baby's ass. Sharon Stone's his wife, but he's like, all his friends are like frumpy, New Yorkers. It's like, you can't get a recall. They're going to fry your brain. He's like, what? I love that shit. This is, as we talked to Raw Deal, and we're going back to that, but that was the first short film that you may have ever talked about. So I felt like you guys should watch it. And I'm going to link it. I'll link it right here, actually, because you and me discussed Schwarzenegger sort of like right before he found his groove.
Yeah.
And this is pure groove. He's charming. He's likable.
What you been feeding this thing?
Blondes.
He could play like the talky parts, which, wasn't always his strong suit. Douglas Quaid, the Everman, that's just the guy that just works at a construction yard and decides he
Jack,
dreams
that's
of
fun.
more. I know, dude.
Yeah.
He's fucking pension. But again, look at his wife and his house. He's doing great. For the salary he's making in the future in construction, he's doing fine.
Yeah, and he also portrayed it's going to be pretentious for me to say the word, but naivete about the character. Meaning, the character is a bit naive and stuff like that. And
yeah, like whimsical. Like, dreams of more.
Actually, I love that transition when he goes to recall and he gets pitched the package. And then it transitions from him being pitched to then his head with a big fucking smile leaning back into the recall machine. I thought that was really funny. Yeah, it was a funny transition. And that's the thing that I really love about the film, because it kind of hit a lot of notes at the same time. First, it's a mystery, almost like Hitchcock in space kind of vibe, or Mercurian Candidate kind of vibe, So like this guy goes through this, and we as the audience figure out with him, or try to figure out with him what the fuck's going on. So I like that. And then it's a bit of a comedy, so they really embrace the humorous,
and black humor too.
Yeah, black humor. Well, that's Verhoeven. Verhoeven. He had that in RoboCop. There Goes My Light. Oh well, I'll stay pretty this way. And then it's a thrilling action film, and it's violent as fuck. And that's one thing I'm sure you appreciate it as well. The squibs.
This is one of them. I mean, Verhoeven to me is the blood squib king, and I will always forever like tip my hat when I see CGI blood, where I'm like, man, Verhoeven, I'm back.
Yeah, and there's a lot of scene like that. That's the thing I always like about Verhoeven. I usually call him Verhoeven, but I'll call him Verhoeven just for shits and gigs.
I think it's Verhoeven, but again, we also have different accents.
If you look at Starship Troopers, if you look at RoboCop, if you look at Total Recall, there's an excessiveness about his style.
Yes.
That I really enjoy, in terms of nudity, sex, violence, and sense of humor, and warped sense of humor. It's applied here in spades. And also mixed in, of course, they reworked the script to fit Schwarzenegger's persona. I'm surprised he didn't say I'll be back in the movie, to be honest. But, they worked in with the Arnold stuff. When his one-liners are gold in this movie, from, of course, the classic.
Consider that a divorce.
You can't go wrong with that, One of my favorite scenes in the movie, which encompasses like pretty much everything from Verhoeven's excessive style, Schwarzenegger's one-liners, is the scene when he has the hologram watch. And he shows up, and
at the end?
At the end, yeah, and all the soldiers are there, and they start shooting. And notice Ironside's face as Richter.
Oh, doesn't it like grin like a little?
Oh,
kid?
dude, it's like he's blowing a load, dude. He is so excited that he finally is killing this guy, and he's like, "Oh my god!" He's so like a kid at a candy store. It's awesome. And then he starts laughing, ha 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 ha, and then he comes out in a nice pure Arnold commando shit, mows everybody down. And at a certain point, it gets to a point, you think this is a real Quaid? You're right. And man, it's just like a perfect marriage of all the ingredients that is in the entire film, but in that one scene just works perfectly for me.
Why Total Recall, I think, works so well is that there's like 15 scenes that just the look and style and what happens, like that scene I remember the alien hand scene being super iconic. The head reveal, the little fucking driving taxi, like
Yeah.
The nose that takes the track
yeah,
ride
the
of his
tracking. Yeah.
But it's just like we can sit here for 20 minutes. That alone, think of it. That's a director.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, who can forget probably the best one-liner in the film with his final tete-a-tete with Richter. I'll let you take it. Take it.
He's got the elevator and he loses the arms and he goes,
See you at the party, Richter.
The matte paintings I loved, and this is where the remake failed the biggest for me, is that it left out the cool alien type of technology and stuff. I like that this was about aliens on Mars and they built this place and we're going in, because like the look of even that shaft elevator in sort of the mine looked cool. The future, the fans that they needed, the mutants needed to keep the air going.
That was another scene actually, which I'd forgotten how extreme it was, is the massacre. Yeah, it's like they just whack everybody, I was like, oh shit, no remorse. Quaid first walks into the bar looking for Melina. It's like the film transports you into another world, and for me anyways, I was buying it and I was, charmed by it. I was like, look at this, man. This is a cool place, man. It just transports you somewhere else, and movies don't really do that anymore for me much.
I think that's because back in the day you had to build sets. I honestly do think, I always feel bad always shitting on Marvel and that sort of filmmaking, because I think it originally started off as probably something that had some heart, but there's no sets in these kind of movies. There's a lot of green screen, especially big budget movies that aren't trying to sort of sell you the practical. A lot of it is plates, and that scene at the bar in the future, like, it's kind of schlocky because now it's not what the future looks like, but it's cool because it's there and it's unique, it's neon, it's weird. That's kind of shit in the future I always want. The telecom phone, I love that shit. That used to be in like Epcot. I love all that stuff, man. This movie has a look.
I was a big fan of Benny's death. Benny, who's the cab driver that betrays him. Benny, screw you! Then, he gets screwed. That was kind of awesome. And what else? The girlo fight between Rachel Ticotin and Sharon Stone was fucking amazing fight. And even like the effects, like, like the eyes bulging out, or even like the mask, with the
I love that where it says the fake animatronic Arnold head in it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah. Like, it's obvious it's not real, but yet it's still more appealing to me than VFX.
It is so iconic, the eyes bulging from Mars and the tongue going everywhere, that I assume to this day that if you were like kicked out into like an air pocket in space, that happens.
What else we got?
One of the best bad guys of the 80s, and obviously since this is 1990, I'd say the 90s as well. We give a little credit to the amazing Michael Ironside, just fucking owning every scene. He just plays I would say a typical villain. But man, this is one of those where like I will love that man for the rest of my life because of Total Recall.
He was, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Verhoeven wanted him for Clarence Boddicker, and he turned it down.
I think it would have done great, but that actor, I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, the guy from That 70s Show.
That 70s Show and Rambo 3. Dude, I could fucking, we could sit there and just quote that. Where he spits blood, he goes, "Give me my fucking phone call.
Yeah.
Can you fly, Bobby?" Everything. I love that guy.
Yeah. The thing about, I'll just say this about Boddicker, is that the actor played against type. It's not, I look at that before Boddicker, I look at that guy and I think, sleazy slimeball maybe, or father, but not like a psycho, not a killer. But he was that, and that's why, for me anyways, it was such a nice contrast from his typecast and the role, which is completely outside of his typecast, and that's why it works so well. So now let's go to Richter. What I like about Ironside's Richter, he's kind of like just like a fucking heat-seeking missile. He's got one purpose, and that's
he's a soldier.
He's a soldier, and he wants this dude whacked. And there's a beautiful little moment, and I got money down. It's improvised. After Schwarzenegger fights with Sharon Stone the first time, and then he walks in with one of his goons or more of his goons, I don't remember, sue me. And some guy tries to help Sharon Stone up, and he shoves him aside.
Don't touch her.
It's a one-note role.
But he has so much fucking presence,
he has so much present, and he puts in these little nuances that elevates the role and makes it memorable. Like I said before, like the orgasm face.
It shows you that this is, I think, where I always notice, I call him, this is an actor, right? I notice actors because all this is him. On paper, if I read for it or if you gave this to somebody else, it would come off just kind of like, oh, he's just a bad guy. I put him in the same category as like Michael Wincott, where it's like, if they speak, you listen. They should just read. Like, Ironside should narrate some novels, and I'd be like, let's go.
Yeah, no, I agree. There is, something unique about him. He has a certain gravitas, and even if you give him give him very little, he gives you a lot. So, any negatives?
I have one, though I would argue it's a soft negative, and it's only negative just because of my personality. I don't like the ambiguous ending, only because, and this is just something of my personality, I always want sci-fi or fantasy or anything sort of mystical to be real. I always prefer that in my stories. As I got older, as a kid, I was like, oh, it's 100%. He's Quaid. And then as I got older, I'm like, fuck, he's probably not the actual spy. It's probably all recall.
Well, I don't even think that there's that the creatives behind the film even know themselves. I think they just left it open up. The scene where a great scene, by the way, where I think he's a shrink, right? The psychiatrist guy.
Yeah, I had him pulled up. He's very like unique looking. He's been in other stuff.
Yeah,
he comes to the room. He's like, take the pill or something. Yeah,
that's it. And he basically stipulates, big word, everything that's going to happen the rest of the movie past this scene. You're going to be, secret agent. You're going to give, Mars some air or blah blah. I'm paraphrasing, and I might be out of my ass.
But no, he does. You're right.
He basically tells you what's going to happen. So then, by the end of the movie, everything that happened, then you're kind of like, okay, he's still at recall.
Well, they show the main girl. I can't think of her name in the TV when he likes brunettes, and that's
and it was her. I don't mind it. I've always played it as if it was real, but watching it again, it's just my perception of things. I feel that the movie hints more that it's not. Like you said,
so we agree.
When he has a brunette, it's Rachel Ticotin's face. The shrink basically telling you what's going to happen for the rest of the movie. Although, why does he sweat though? We don't know. That's why is he nervous if he's not really there? And then he gets, but it's reality upon reality. So we could talk about this shit till the cows come home to become burgers. So we'll leave it at that. So for me, negatives, not really. I always felt like the air stuff, Mars stuff, not really the most captivating subplot for me. But whatever. It's basically like you said, a soft negative. It's not even a soft negative. It's just like, I don't really give a fuck.
Of course. Well, now we are at the time of the episode where we do the 888 number, which if you guys want to call, it'll be flashing right here. So give us a call. Hang out, man. Well, John, let's rock out this one. The name is Snake Plissken.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? I can't believe I'm doing this. This is ridiculous. But I'm in law enforcement, so I'll just say my name is Snake Plissken, which is what I use on YouTube. And, man, I've been a fan for a really long time. And I made a comment on YouTube recently, and I had mentioned that I miss your gore section and your nudity section that the Arrow, John, used to write back in the day, and how I used to base all of my viewings on that section of it. And you thank me for being an OG, man. But you know what? You don't have to thank me, dude, because you have given me more than I could ever give you. I mean, shit. I've been on your website since 2001, and I'm 37 now. Been a long time. And I'll keep going on the website, and I'll keep listening and watching it when I'm 47. But I won't call this number when I'm 47, because even at 37, it's kind of gay. But I wanted to call regardless. So keep up the good work.
Snake, first and foremost, thank you for your service. I have the utmost respect for people in the military and the law enforcement. That's just who I am. Dude, it's not a big fucking deal. You're 37 and you're telling me, that you like my shit. And I don't think it's a big deal if you're 47 and you tell me you like my shit. Any positivity is always welcome. So thank you so much. Can you imagine if I was still writing for Arrow in the Head and would have a gore and TNA section going today? I don't think that would. Yeah, I don't think that would fly, man. But it's always great. I mean, look, Arrow in the Head was founded in 2000. So Snake started, reading my crap in 2001. And it's always great for me to hear from people that, were there from the beginning. So thank you, man.
It looks like this next one is from Mr. Roberts. So,
Bobby.
Hey guys, I just got into your podcast. I think it's awesome. You guys were talking about the Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, and I was wondering if you talk about the movie I Come in Peace, aka Dark Angel. And recently, in my 40s, I started watching it again. I think it's awesome. Just want to know what you think of the movie. All right, guys, just keep doing what you're doing.
One, I think, John, we both agree. I'll let you jump in. I Come in Peace is one of the coolest action movies of the era. Unique sci-fi action thriller. Mr. Roberts, I don't know your last name, but we actually have the episode, which I will link right here. But if not, you can just check it in the videos that we discussed the man. So, but awesome. Thank you for joining, man. We love this stuff.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, buddy. And cheers. So, before we cheers to this fantastic movie, I just want to say one thing that really popped is it's, I think, the movie that has the most Arnold yells. It's
a squib.
It's like a melody. It's like a bedtime story. It just brings peace and calmness in my heart. So thank you, Total Recall, for that extra bonus of guys and dolls. What about you? What do you think of Total Recall? You a fan, not a fan? When's the last time you've seen it? If you haven't seen it recently, I strongly urge you to watch it again because it delivers and then some. One thing that Lance and I didn't mention, the pace just never stops, man. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, Verhoeven knows his shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing Hollywood lost, man. I don't need a 3-hour Indiana Jones, bro. Give me a $145 of fucking well-paced action and, good to go. All the best love and kisses. That's it. Thank you for tuning in. And
the fare is 18 credits, please.
Sue me, dickhead.
Welcome to the end screen. Because we have our most popular videos up here, our latest videos over here, our modern reviews up here, and of course, the subscribe button right here, guys. Every little bit counts, and we do appreciate the support.